If you think the secret to a successful pressure washing business is fancy equipment, you're dead ass wrong. And I'm about to break down the real formula for making serious money in this industry. And trust me, it's probably not what you're thinking. So let's get into the 3 things that you got to have, because without these 3 things, you might as well pack it up and go home. And I know what you're thinking. I need all of this stuff to start my business. But let me tell you something. The equipment means abso-fucking-lutely nothing if you don't have what I'm about to share with you. And the first one, it is the most important piece that a lot of guys, they overlook or they underestimate. And that is the lifeblood of your business, which is, of course, customers. And it sounds obvious, right? But you would be shocked at how many people forget that without customers, you've got nothing. And I think that they think that because they've got a trailer, they've got a tank with some water and some chemical and a pressure washer, a soft wash pump, that they've got a business. But in reality, you ain't got shit. You need to have a solid marketing strategy, and you need to know exactly who your target audience is, and then get that lead flow flowing. And I would even say that you need to be doing all of this before you even get your equipment, before you even know what you're actually doing out there in the field. You got to be out landing customers every single day before you get started, because the pressure washing world is competitive. And there are a bunch of dumb motherfuckers out there that have no clue what they're doing. They underbid, and for them, it's like a race to the bottom. And that's because they're not smart. They haven't done their planning. They don't know their numbers. They're not business people. They're just dudes out there with pressure washers. And you do have to be prepared to deal with these. And trust me, it's not a deal breaker for your business. These guys aren't going to impact you. They're not going to hurt your business. You are better. You have to be smarter. You have to be more prepared than they are. And if you're watching this, you're probably already prepping yourself to be that guy, right? To be the one that's prepared, to be the one that is going to go out there and crush. Look, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and there have always been low ballers out there. There have always been the $99 guys, and there have always been people that are trying to steal my customer base, eat away at it. But I'm still here, and there is a reason for that, because I do all of the things that need to be done in order to remain successful and have a healthy business that's been able to maintain and grow for over 2 decades. And here's something else that kind of goes along with what I just said. If you are not tracking your close ratio, you're flying blind, right? This is a critical performance indicator, a KPI, that tells you if you're charging too much, charging too little, or if your sales skills, they just suck. And I've seen guys with the most amazing equipment go broke because they didn't know how to land or keep customers. So you have to take your marketing seriously. You have to understand your numbers, and you have to watch your business like under a microscope and understand everything that's going on. And if you do these things, then I promise you, you're going to have success. Your business will grow. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. It does take a lot of hard work. And just because you decide you're going to go into business, nobody cares. Nobody knows. You have to let them know. And we do that with our marketing. So I know what you're probably thinking, that if you've got the right equipment, then everything else will just fall into place, right? And I know a lot of guys do think that. But again, like I said before, you would be dead ass wrong, which brings us to the second point. And that's the equipment, right? Start small and think big. And yeah, equipment is important. It is absolutely critical. It's not the end all and the be all, right? You don't need to go out and spend 30 grand to start making money on a trailer, okay? If you've got that kind of cash, great, invest it and you're all set, right? But if not, there is no need to go into debt just to look the part, right? To fit in with the guys on Facebook. Customers, they don't care if your equipment is brand new and sparkly and shiny. They care about whether you can get the job done, right? You deliver on what you promise. That's what really matters. They don't care about your GPM or your PSI or how big your surface cleaner is. They just want their property to be cleaned. And if you guys know my story, I bought an existing business, 2 used pressure washing trailers, rough shape. And I had to go out and I bought 2 beat up trucks that looked like they came out of a junkyard. One was a GMC. I can't even remember what year it was, but this thing, the step side bed was a different color than the cab. It was a green front, a blue back. It was terrible looking. The other was a Chevy Suburban, a black Chevy Suburban that I found on Craigslist. And I look back now and I think how crazy it must have looked rolling up like Sanford and Son. And probably none of you know who that is, right? The reference that I just made. So let me know in the comment section if you're an old person like me, or you can just say, Mike, you're a boomer. I have no idea what you're talking about because you just made a Fred Sanford reference. You're old. Anyway, This is what I did. I focused on getting customers, delivering great service, and reinvesting every single dollar I made back into my business. And over time, I built up to the equipment that, made us more proficient, made us more efficient, made us more profitable. And a lot of the stuff that we work with today, it's not the same equipment, but it's the equipment that you eventually want to get, right? And like I said, over time, I built up the equipment that you see that we're working with today. So don't sweat it if you're starting out with less. It's not about what you have, but how you use it. And this is when a lot of you guys are probably going to say, that's what she said. So throw those jokes in the comment section down below. Anyway, I want to tell you a story about this dude that I met, a local guy, met him at the equipment place that I get a lot of the chemicals and equipment and stuff. This was, I don't know, 9 months, 8 months ago, something like that. And this guy was in there. I walked in to get whatever I was getting, and he was just kind of hanging out, looking around. He walked up, he recognized me, said, he watched the channel, loved all the videos, and he learned a lot. He was in the process of starting his own business. And of course, I asked him if he had taken How to Wash. I'd asked him if he had taken Local Dom, which is a great training if you're needing help with marketing and getting customers. And of course, I asked him if he was, going to choose a CRM. Of course, none of these were on his radar yet, which, it is what it is. He was saying that the equipment was his main focus and he didn't want to spend anything on anything else. He'd maxed out all his credit cards to buy the bulk of what he bought. And he was actually telling me that he bought a soft wash rig from a company down in Florida who I'm not familiar with, but they financed it for him to help him out, he said. 25% interest rates. It was a $30,000 skid. And this was not the place that I was at, by the way. We're in Georgia. That was a Florida place. I don't know who they are. Anyway, I think that he could tell from the expression on my face that I didn't think that that was the smartest way to go about getting equipment. But he reassured me that the equipment was awesome. It did this, it did that, it had this, it had that. And in his mind, he was thinking that this was the key to his success. But I want to break it down. 25%, 3-year note. He's going to pay almost as much in interest as he is for the skid itself, something like 23 grand just in interest payment, right? I'm not a mathematician, but I know that ain't smart business. And a lot of you guys have seen the videos where I interview my local competition, right? Highlighting their business, showing off their equipment, telling their story. And one of the questions that I always ask is, what are you guys doing for your marketing to generate leads, right? And the reason that I always ask that is because it's a huge indicator of how successful they're going to be. Customer acquisition, marketing, sales, all of these things are what are basically driving the success of businesses, right? And I asked him the very same question when I met him the first time. What kind of marketing are you going to do? And he said nothing, that he was going to rely on word of mouth. He was focused on the equipment. That's fine. But I knew this was a recipe for disaster. Anyway, the reason I'm actually making this video today is because I ran into him yesterday. And like I said, it was about 9 months earlier when I first met him, and he was telling me that, I asked him how his business was going. And he said that he's barely breaking even because he said he forgot the most important part. And that was the customers, right? Said that he thought it was going to be a lot easier than it was, thought he was going to be able to rely on just word of mouth. But he was being very honest with me and said that he's not making hardly any money, afraid that his shit's going to get repoed, right? They're going to come and take the equipment back because he doesn't even have enough money to pay the note on the trailer. And it's sad, but it's something that we can all learn from. It's not about the equipment. It's about getting the customers so you can use the equipment, right? Meanwhile, another guy that I know, he's in one of our one-on-one trainings, and he's got a basic setup like a Home Depot pressure washer, but he is focused on building the customer base, learning and implementing the things that we teach. And now he's up to $30,000 a month with a Home Depot pressure washer, right? Equipment doesn't build your business. You do. And if you're interested in getting some of that one-on-one coaching, Justin and I, we do an 8-week class. We've got another one coming up, I think in about 3 or 4 weeks. If you're interested, there's a link below. And we're going to talk about number 3. And that this is, in my opinion, really the backbone, the foundation of your business. Okay. And what I'm talking about now is systems. Now, this is where most people drop the ball. And I was one of those people that did drop the ball when I was first starting out. And it cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars because I wasn't keeping track of my customers. I wasn't following up with them. And I was making a bunch of mistakes that obviously were really expensive ways to learn, that I needed to get systems in place to stay organized, to keep track of customers, schedule, invoice, all the things that you need to do as a business owner, not just some dude with a pressure washing trailer. And most importantly, obviously, for when you're starting out, getting paid quickly is very important because we need that cash flow. And obviously, if you know me now, I'm going to say something about Quote IQ. And the reason that I'm so passionate about this is because I am the co-founder of Quote IQ, and because we built this specifically for home service industry providers like you, like me. It's everything that we wanted, everything that we needed, and it's everything that wasn't available in one place. And that's why we built this thing. And now it's even better with even more features that we didn't even realize that we needed until our users brought them to our attention. And then we build and we implement. And obviously, I would love for you to use Quote IQ, but it doesn't have to be, use something, get something that's going to help you to quote jobs really fast, stay on top of your customers, on your lead flow, manage your calendar, and basically just, keep up with your business, right? Well, actually, now that I actually think about it, definitely does need to be Quote IQ because nobody else offers what we do for the value and the price that we do. No, that's, again, just me. Anyway, so listen to this. Most people focus so much on the equipment that they completely ignore the customers. They completely ignore the systems that they need in order to make money, right? Don't be the guy with a $30,000 rig sitting in the driveway with no jobs lined up, scared to death that the next truck he hears coming up is the one that's taking his skid away. That is not the guy you want to be. Okay, and to sum it up, you need three things, right? You need the customers, you need the equipment, and you need the systems. Customers bring the money. Equipment, it gets the job done, and systems keep you organized and profitable. And it really is that simple. So if you are serious about having a business, right, a pressure washing business, and you want to take it to the next level, stop wasting time and start implementing these three essentials today. And I promise you, you're going to see the growth that you want. Because in business, it's not about who has the shiniest rig. It's about who has the smartest strategy in place. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and drop a comment. Let us know what you think, and let's get after it. Thanks so much.